Welcome back to another edition of Aspire TV. My name's Cynthia and I'm your host. Today we got a special guest out of Hollywood, folks, and it's real exciting. We're excited to introduce him. Actor, writer, and producer. Introduce Robert Gatewood, correct?
That's correct. How you doing?
Well, welcome, Robert. We're excited to have you here.
I'm excited to be here, and thank you for inviting me. It's a great opportunity.
Tell the viewers, where are you from? Where did you grow up?
I'm from Ohio originally. I grew up in a little small town. As a matter of fact, my graduating class was about 56 students. So we're very much like Andy Mayberry, Andy Griffith show. We're really,
Oh my God, 56? We had like 400 in mine.
I had 27 dogs. They basically raised me, 27 husky shepherd dogs. So I grew up like Mowgli and Jungle Book, and I was having the time of my life, 27 dogs on a horse until football scouts want to know who's this kid running in the woods with these dogs, and that just ended all the fun that I was having. That's how I ended up in California.
That's awesome. And now, how long have you been out in California?
Oh, let's see, I got here probably in about 87, and at the time I was being recruited by a lot of NFL teams. Ran out of 2 Achilles tendons, and then my agent said, don't worry about it, I'll get you something to do. Little did I know it was going to be film work. So I wound up doing a lot of stunt work for years. And then I ran into Aki Leong. He's an actor from Kung Fu. Everybody remembers him. He's the one that's just Grasshopper and all that. And he
Yes, I remember him.
Yeah, he talked me into getting into more serious acting. He said, you can't do stunt work forever. And he's right about that.
Right.
You know.
So you've played some bigger roles, you're saying?
I have done Star Trek Enterprise, and Star Trek 6. I've done sidekicks with Chuck Norris. I fought Chuck Norris, fought Steve Seagal a couple of different times. And then I've done a lot of other TV shows. One time I landed a role as an undercover cop on Hardball with Richard Tyson, which was pretty exciting time, you know. But most of the time when they look at my resume, they see that I've been in 2 Star Treks. This is supposed to not happen unless there's a time warp and, you know, the characters come together. But it's never supposed to happen. So every time somebody looks at my resume.
You had a speaking role on these?
No, I was a Klingon. These are mostly action parts. And then I played an alien lacrosse player in the desert with Scott Bakula. And they hired me and another wide receiver. And they took 4 of us on location in the desert. And we did a big battle there. And I also did The Last Boy Scout with Bruce Willis and Damon Wayne. That's the football scene. That's me on the 80-yard touchdown in there. And we got a chance to work with Tony Scott, who was he was a wonderful action film director. He really knew how to pump up the action in every film, if you know anything about him. Great guy.
Okay, great.
He passed away. And I'm also the Flynn pirate from Hook with Dustin Hoffman and Robin Williams. Now,
yeah.
Yeah, I was just one of the pirates, but we had a sword fight competition going on between all the pirates during the filming. They'd bring out 2 bamboo sticks, and by the process of elimination, we would go through until we found out who was the best swordsman of all the pirates, and I won that whole thing. And so
that's awesome.
Robin Williams and Dustin Hoffman, they nicknamed me the Flynn Pirate after that. That's the prestigious title to hold, is the Flynn Pirate from Hook, because everybody was always, you know, calling yourself Flynn. As soon as you walk in, you're the Flynn Pirate. So I ended up getting that title. That was a very special time, because everybody down at Columbia Studios Lot, it's Sony Pictures now, but it used to be Columbia Studios Lot. Everybody from every set was running down to see that last battle between the 2 pirates to see who would win the thing. So it was fun.
That's so awesome.
And that's where I got
you get a lot of awards above you. You get a lot of trophies there. Are those all yours?
Yeah, there's a lot of football trophies and sports trophies, and some are my son's and some are mine, you know, but you know, he's a pretty good quarterback over in Newport Harbor. You know, he was running a pretty good show over there.
That's pretty impressive. It's too bad he wasn't around when I had my men's team.
Yeah, he's a pretty smart guy, you know.
And now, how many children do you have?
I have 4 actually, but my youngest was the quarterback over here in Newport. And
so they're all grown now?
Yeah, they're all grown.
So do any of them into the acting business?
No, as a matter of fact, you know how it goes. My son, he was very much into every kind. He's a 3-time American Idol contestant. He's been on American Idol 3 different times. They keep on bringing him on and saying, you know, hey, you're
cool.
really good. He passed the first few tests, get a gold ticket, and then they tell him, you're young, you can come back, you know. But he was involved in so much when he was in school, and he auditioned for Spider-Man when he was a young kid, and he just got to a point where he had done so many things in school. That's your thing, Dad.
Yeah. So they're all in their own careers now.
Yes, yes.
So you were able to make a living as an actor and work in the Hollywood business for a career. You were making a career out of it?
I knew a lot of guys that were in a lot of action film, and so they pass you around. They always say, "Hey, this guy's a good athlete, bring him on." And by word of mouth, connection, and then I wound up. I used to be a boxer too, so that's why Chuck Norris had me on, because of my boxing skills. And I worked with Steve Seagal, and I worked with a lot of different action performers. So usually they see me run a 40. One time I was one of the fastest on the planet. I think they see me run 140-yard dash. They, whoa, man, we got to have him in here, So that worked out. So
that's awesome. I love it. So now, what is the latest stuff that you have worked on that they could the viewers out there can remember? See.
Well, I've done Animal Kingdom. I did the TV series on TNT with the Rough House guys. I did that one. And I also did a movie with Jack Black that's on Showtime HBO. Was about nuclear war disaster coming with the Middle East. We did some action work with that. We turned his car over, set on fire. That's a Showtime thing. And then I did Shangri-La, which is a HBO, Showtime, okay. And a few other things like that.
Well, one of the biggest things we're here to talk about today is your upcoming project. And you and I have a mutual friend, Ron Whitaker. And Ron was on the cover of my magazine a few years back. And so we had a lot of fun with his interview. Why don't you tell us and the viewers what the film's all about, and an era that was overlooked, and tell us all about that.
Okay, well, Ron's our executive producer, and he and I connected because he came and actually came for a small role on the film, and he wound up, turning into my executive producer. He's getting involved in the film work. Our film is an untold story. It's a very rare story. The title is Bucks of America, and when I first introduced it, I didn't realize a lot of people thought it was a fictitious name. It's not a fictitious name. It's a real story about some Black soldiers who served in the Revolutionary War. So our story covers a period of time from the Boston Massacre all the way to the Battle of Bunker Hill. So we're going to see a lot of the citizens' interaction and the events leading up to that spark that actually set off the Revolutionary War. This particular story about these men, no one knows who they were, where they came from, and what happened to them. So as I was doing some research, and I first heard the story when I was in college by some older gentleman who came and told me some things and gave me some tips, and I'd been carrying it with me for years. And then Aki Leong said, "Why don't you write that story?" So I was like, I can't write none. Wait a minute, I'm in the information age. That's right, I can get on the computer. So I started connecting with a lot of historians. And then I took a very different route into trying to uncover, who these people were. And it opened the door, and it just came out with a flood of information. And it's got me so excited that I can't wait to tell everyone the story, because the story is very profound. And it's a story of basically unified people coming together of all diverse backgrounds to overcome a very powerful British oppression. And the finale is Bunker Hill in our film, which they're taking on an overwhelming army. Who's going to take on the British army? And it finishes with them being able to stand up to them to the point that the British recognize, oh man, we'll never be able to stop them. A lot of people don't know we lost the Battle of Bunker Hill, but it proved a point. It proved a very solid point. And these characters involved in my story, a couple of them are major heroes at Bunker Hill. So some things in history that we don't know that we have to cover, we've got to know about these incidents. They're very important.
Absolutely. And I think that's important. And so you bringing it to life is really going to show people and wake people up. And wow, I didn't know that happened. And so I think it's great that you're bringing this to the film. And, and I think it's amazing what you're doing. You got some great names there. Can you share a couple of the names so far that you have lined up?
Yeah, we have, Eric Roberts, of course, he's playing one of the British officers. We also have Russell Brand. We have Rebecca Holden, who's playing a very important role because she is a woman that was holding meetings at her house and basically talking about how we need to get the British out of here. They're causing a big problem. She inspired a lot of people by some of the poems that she's wrote. She wrote a lot of the history about the times. So our film is going to be about 95% accurate. By the time you look through this, you'll be able to sit there with your smart device and you can Google anything that's going on in the film, and you'll find out that it's all backed up with documents, you know, that are in Washington. The individual characters, and this is the part that the actors are all excited about, they can research the history on the character that they're playing, and they can get very familiar with the character. And then by the time they bring it to my script, it's going to be a very authentic film. It's going to be something that is very profound, and you're going to feel like you really learned something that you've been missing. Most of the time we go to school, we get a cliche. We get a line here, and then it's let's move on, you know. But this particular thing, I had examined that portrait, Bunker Hill, for a long time. I really wanted to know what's happening in the portrait itself. The portrait was painted by John Trumbull, and he painted it from eyewitness accounts. And so, you know, a lot of people don't examine it. They look at it, and I show it to them, and they say, oh yeah, that's the Battle of Bunker Hill. We won that. And no, we didn't. But they need to look into it and see what's actually going on there. Because when you actually think about it, who's going to take on the British Army? This is the craziest thing, you know. I mean, they're outnumbered so bad. Actually, they're running out of ammunition. So basically, everybody there is on a suicide mission, you know. So when you really look into it, and then there's some strong points in there. We hear about a legend like Molly Pitcher. I have an actress. Her name is Michelle Nordlander. She's from Sweden, and she's a very powerful actress who's taking on this role of Molly Pitcher. We know that it's a legendary name, and we try to, you know, check out events leading to that. But actually, you can see that the citizens are very fired up against the British when there's, you know, somebody's wife out there is firing a cannon at them. They have to be very.
So let me
and
ask,
then we start out.
Are you going to be doing a lot of the shooting in Boston?
We're going to be doing a lot of the shooting at a location in Atlanta, actually, because there is an old town that looks exactly like Boston 1770. And we're going to use that area because there's a location that has all of the different locations that we need at one place. And that's what we're aiming for. Okay. We have shot some of the trailers that we're doing. We shot around the city of Orange, because it also has a look that looks like Boston 1770. So like I said, we're trying to be strictly very.
So will you do any of the shooting in Boston at all?
No, I don't think we'll be able to do anything. There's so much tourist activity and souvenir type things that have been put up all around the area there that it's hard to get that look that takes you, you know, to Boston at that time. It's hard to get the exact look that we're trying to get. So that's why we've come up with a location that gives us everything. From, you know,
well, you know, because I'm asking because I'm from Boston. So.
Yes, I could hear it in your accent.
Right, I have a strong Boston accent, they say.
And I have a lot of Boston that keep contacting me, and had one just recently, and they're always asking me, are you shooting in Boston? You know, I'd like to audition for your film. And this is the kind of thing that's been going on. But yeah, unfortunately, there's, you know, so many things around Boston that it's hard to shoot and still have that authentic look of 1770, which is very important.
So can, for those actors and actresses that are interested in getting involved in any stunt people or any people in the film industry, how can they reach you, and what's the best way to send, you know, resume or headshot?
Well, it's easy enough to contact Ron Whitaker, you know, actually Ron, myself, or Rodica. They're starting to handle a lot of the casting right now, Ron and Rodica. So that's that way they can contact them, or they can contact myself. And we have a Facebook page that has all the history documents. So if you go through the page, it doesn't tell the story. We're not giving away the story, but actually you can look at the time period of the Boston Massacre 1770 all the way to 1775, and you can review all those documents, and you'll get a very good clue on what the film is about. However, if I would encourage everyone to Google or ask Siri, who were the Bucks of America? And the information you get back will make you more intrigued to know about this story, because their story needs to be told. Everybody needs to know who these men were. And
absolutely. I agree. Yes.
They made a,
so how long do you think the filming will take place?
Well, that's why we're trying to grab one location. We have shot some portions of it here around California, but what we'd like to do is we'd like to use this one location. That way we can shoot Bunker Hill and the small town and everything, because the citizens are a featured part of the film as well. we're going to see the interaction of the citizens and how they're getting upset over things happening.
Yeah.
And then it'll lead into the Bucks of America and where they came from. But
Now,
we would expect.
you're working on some big actors, right? Some A-listers, right?
Now we have some big names they've been coming along. As a matter of fact, they've been listening, and they're how it is. They're listening and saying, well, let's see how big it goes, and they're finally starting to catch up with the history, and they understand the history is so profound. At the beginning, we were being called like the Gone with the Wind of our generation because, when my father was in school, it was kind of mandatory for them to go see this for the history content,
Right.
because it showed basically a timeline that they're trying to teach in schools, and they could get a better visual on it. And that's what we're doing. We're giving you a visual. We're going to take you to Boston 1770 and allow you to take that walk that shows, how this country became a free nation.
Okay. And so when do you expect to start taping in Atlanta?
That's a good question. We're looking at a pandemic now, so everybody's waiting to see when we can go back to work. SAG is slowly, the Screen Actors Guild is slowly trying to open up some guidelines, some rules to follow.
Right.
So
I saw that my soap opera, which was been on hold, right, for 3-4 months
Right.
because of the pandemic. They just advertised today that they're going to start all new episodes on Monday. And I'm saying, well, how the heck they do that? You know what I mean? I don't know how they did it with this whole pandemic. How did they film the soap opera, right?
Yeah, the same with almost everything that's going on. Testing, and they're trying to get it down where people can interact. Unfortunately, we shot a lot of scenes, and now we're up to the Boston Massacre, which has to have a huge crowd scene. There's going to be some CGI, some things like that, with some British soldiers and things, but still we have a lot of interaction. So we've been on hold just waiting to make sure everything's going to be safe enough for all the actors to come on board, which all the actors are doing right now. We're all waiting to see, when we can actually go back into it, so.
Wow. I mean, the time flies by. I can't believe it's time's up. So this has been a pleasure today. Again, for the viewers watching, can you again tell them how they can get more information? You said you have a Facebook page.
Yes,
Could you kind of spell it out for them?
Bucks of America, BUCKS, like deer or dollars, Bucks of America. And if you go there, you'll see a picture of the Battle of Bunker Hill on the cover, and then you know you're the right place. There's only like 2 of them. One is a hunting apparel, and the other one is ours. And if you go there, you'll be able to see all the documented information throughout the years of Boston in that time period. And you'll get a good idea. And then we're listed on IMDb. So if you go on your IMDb and look up Bucks of America, we're a standout. We're the only one there. And you'll be able to look at some of the research, some of the things that we're doing, and you'll be able to see a trailer clip of the film as well. And we also have a couple of other international stars that are coming on board, Ramona Miles, and we also have a girl named, I'm trying to think of her name right now, but they're coming all the way from Germany to this movie. Anna is Barna. She's also on board with us, so 2 actresses.
I could actually interview all of them. I mean,
would be great.
I'd be more than happy to interview all the actors. And of course, the big name that you and I talked privately about, obviously, that would be a great opportunity as well. You know what I mean?
We're looking at that to come together. We also have a young girl who's playing the role of Phyllis Wheatley. Her name is Ariel Johns. You really want to know about this person in history. She's a very young girl, a very highly intelligent, college-educated type of person, and she started out as a very small, weak slave girl that came in on a ship, and they didn't think she would make it, and some people took her in and gave her a very high education. It's going to be a history you want to know about as well.
Oh, I definitely will. I'll have to do a little research. And we talked about we'll have a little reception on that Tuesday night, the 29th, we'll have it at a hotel, my hotel, and then we can do some interviews right there. We'll have the lights and everything, and we'll just set it up and do a few interviews and have a little private get together. And I'll look forward to it, In the meantime, it's been wonderful having you on today. Let's stay in touch and let's communicate where we can line up the other actors. And I'm excited to be a little part of this. And you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, it's revealing. It's going to be very revealing. I'm excited to see the impact that it will have on people when they see this story. Because I had a couple other avenues. I could have went around the universities and given lectures and speeches and stuff, but we figured that the big screen would be the fastest way to bring all of this important information to the public. So.
Oh, I bet it will. It's going to be big. I'll be there when you hit the red carpet. I'll fly in for that as well when it's ready.
Beautiful.
I'll be sure to cover it.
All right.
Well, again, Robert, it's been great today. We'll do a follow-up and right before I head out for our big meeting, and I'll be in touch with you about lining up some of the other actors and actresses and anyone else you want, that you want me to interview. I'd be more than happy to get the word out about your film. I think it's important to let people know.
Beautiful. I thank you so much.
Thank you. From our living room or office to yours. Thanks for tuning in today. I'm your host, Cynthia. Today I had Robert Gatewood, and he's got lots coming up. And be sure to check out our business pages, and we'll see you all soon. Bye for now.